For a long time, our customers have to keep up to date with Salesforce's IP address ranges as our data center infrastructure expands and more servers are deployed. With Hyperforce, we are now moving away from the need to keep the IP addresses updated all the time by recommending a better way for our customers to manage traffic from Salesforce services. To tell you more about it, here's Anchor.
Thanks, Zoom. Hi, everyone. My name is Ankur, and I'm here to talk about this exciting change where our customers no longer have to keep reviewing our Salesforce IP address list once and for all as we move forward with our Hyperforce strategy. For a long time, allowing designated IPs is one of the most effective methods of ensuring this and prevents any internet traffic intended for Salesforce being hijacked or rerouted to a rug website. However, we have had customers complain that we update and add new IP addresses periodically, and it is hard to follow these updates. Yet we have to make those updates every time we scale out with new instances or data centers. It is natural there will be more IP addresses to accommodate them. What if I tell you there are better ways to manage traffic, all filtering emails? One that results in you do not having to update IP address allow list all the time. Firstly, to allow traffic from Salesforce services to your network, the best approach is to ensure all domains listed under the required domains are allowed for access. By doing so, even if Salesforce IP address changes or additional ones are added, as we roll out to more regions and more public cloud vendors, you can be sure that the traffic is indeed from Salesforce services. This way, you don't have to worry about adding new IP addresses just because your org is migrated or your org is undergoing an instance refresh or a site switch. In fact, due to the rollout of the Hyperforce to more regions and vendors over the next few years, Salesforce sees that it can be hard for our customers to keep following up new IP address updates. Therefore, Salesforce will no longer publish IP addresses for Hyperforce customers. We will keep the IP address list for existing infrastructure, and we recommend our customers that, in addition to allow listing the provided list of IP addresses, customers should have all those required domains allowed for access. The key word being in addition. Don't make the mistake of having the allow list set up only allow traffic that is from the IP address and from the required domain. You need to allow traffic from either the IP address list or the required domains. Now, how do you configure the required domains? The whitelisting of domains is implemented in a proxy server. You can consult with your network administrator to ensure a proxy server is in place in your network architecture and to add the required Salesforce domain to proxy configuration. A proxy server is the intermediary between the public internet and your local computer network. Unlike a firewall that allows you to whitelist IP address in an access control list, a proxy server filters websites from the internet, and if it is not on the allowed list, the website is redirected to a separate page that would normally display an error message. That's why the configuration of the Salesforce required domains is performed in a proxy server. An example of a domain name rule that needs to be applied on the proxy server is any traffic from a domain matching a pattern of star.salesforce.com will allow the HTTPS request. A domain name rule needs to be set up for all the domain listed in this document. How about if your network is not set up privately on premise but is on the public cloud? Let's say your existing IT infrastructure sits on AWS. To ensure isolation from public network, you would typically implement an Amazon Virtual Private Cloud VPC to host your secured systems. Again, the concept is similar to an on-prem approach where a proxy server will be utilized. Check out this blog that discusses how the open source HTTP proxy Squid can be used to protect workloads running in the VPC. It uses AWS Secret Manager, which is used to store the domain list where the Salesforce required domains are to be added. If your infrastructure platform is on Microsoft Azure, there is no ability to add required domains. You could still establish a proxy server from your organization's network, but if the preference is to have this fully configured within Azure, then additional services are needed. This is done within the Azure Active Directory using conditional access policy. Conditional access policy brings in various signals together to make policy decision about whether access will be provided. Other than IP address range and named locations, one of these key signals relevant to Salesforce is Microsoft Cloud App Security (MCAS). This signal acts as a reverse proxy and gatekeeper to cloud apps for the Microsoft platform by providing access only to approved cloud apps in its app catalog. To allow user access through MCAS into Salesforce, a connector based on REST API needs to be configured, and the steps to do this are detailed here. These steps are performed within both Salesforce and Microsoft. That's it. I hope this gives you a good overview on setting up required domains for your org. If further assistance is needed, please contact Salesforce customer support. Thank you.